I'm Bijal Varia, and I am the TOSA, Teacher on Special Assignments. It's a very new role that I just stepped into for Santa Clara Adult Education. And thank you to my principal, Ms. Carrie Casto, and Ms. Christine Berdiansky for trusting in me. The skills that I'm presenting today, the high flex class, is a baby of me and my very special colleague, Patricia, who is now the principal of Silicon Valley Adult Education. And before she actually stepped into this role, she used to be a very, very key member, program coordinator for Santa Clara Adult Education. And I and Patricia together have worked closely on this project, which is why this is a huge success now. So thank you, Patricia. I am going to use your name every now and again because yes, this is us together. So I'm going to share my screen and I am going to present my, I didn't want to share a slideshow. Okay. Can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Yes.
I think I just logged out of my other laptop. So I just had that on just so that I can see what I am presenting. All right, moving on to piloting a high flex classroom, a candid perspective from an ESL supervisor and an ESL teacher. So when I designed this along with Patricia, I was an ESL teacher then. This is us. And I teach advanced ESL class at Santa Clara Adult Education. And I also teach a speak up class at Santa Clara Adult Education, which is a paid class. I wanted to extend my thank you to our school, our administrative team, our ESL team, and our support team, because I think nothing ever is possible without, like they say, it takes a village to raise a child. It takes a whole team to implement a new program. And this is our team, our principal, Carrie Casto, and Christine Berdiansky, who is our program administrator, and all of our teachers and our support team. Like I said, Manny, how did we go about piloting a high flex program?
Mm-hmm.
Santa Clara has been a part of Digital Leadership Academy by OTAN. So we have been through a rigorous training through DLAC for the past 2 years. And I was the teacher who was chosen for this, along with Patricia, who was our program supervisor.
Good.
And which is why we came up with all the different skills and tools for implementing the high flex / hybrid, sometimes just online program, because apparently we all went through pandemic. And the minute we went to pandemic, it was a lot more easier for all of us to transition to the online platform with some of the skills that we learned from the DLAC program. So that's how these are our OTAN members and our collaboration team member, one of which is right here, Archana from Campbell Adult Community Education. So Archana, hi. Hi there.
So Bijal, this
Yes.
DLAC, this is like an organization that provide training?
DLAC is a Digital Learning Academy, which is a program for digital leaders through OTAN, which is the Outreach Technical, I forget the
Assistance Network.
Assistance Network.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So especially this is like online education of networks.
Yes. So it's
similar to that, right? Like
yes,
at one.
yes. So they
Okay.
have they train the teachers from
Very
the
good.
participating schools.
Okay, now I got it.
And we learn all the skills through collaboration.
But because I went through their training at one, for 12 week or another 12 week poker, peer online, all those things. So
Yes.
this program is good. So once the teacher they get trained, they are
Yes.
fully satisfied. They're
It's a
done.
fantastic program.
Excellent.
Right, thank you. So why did Santa Clara Adult Education apply to the Digital Leadership Academy? There was a reason why we went through it. Our school is based in Silicon Valley, right? We are in the tech hub and we are a VOA program. So it becomes essential for our school to adhere to our students' learning needs. Now, the live example of going through this at that time, which wasn't planned actually, but it just so happened that we just stepped into the pandemic, and overnight, all the schools, including preschool, elementary, adult schools, middle schools, we all had to transition to an online platform. So when we transitioned to the online platform, we had to implement a system which was very applicable for our students, which was user-friendly, and which kind of led them to learn new skills, new technological skills to learn or even to advance their learning of English language. So this is why many real-life experiences were taken into consideration to utilize, and mostly they are driven by technology, such as applying for a job or helping their children with homework. Some of the feedback that we got from our student is we struggle with writing an email to the school, or we struggle by, placing an online order. So these are all common skills that all of our students need to learn, and they're required to learn, which is one of the reasons why we decided to go through this Digital Leadership Academy. Our motto for implementing a high-flex program was to simplify and solidify, slow and steady. When we began with our digital journey, we had a lot of goals, and all the goals were pretty much spread out. We wanted to do this, and we wanted to do this, and we wanted to do this. In order for achieving all the goals, we somewhere kind of became way too fast-track. At that time, we as a team decided to just sit down and take it slowly, saying, what is it that our students actually need to learn? Let's just simplify our goals. Why do we have to have so many goals? The only goal should be learning English to be able to use and apply in their daily life. How can we tie it in with digital aspect for learning? Then came in different factors, and we sat down, we worked on those factors, and we narrowed them down. So some of the factors that we incorporated in determining a pilot were student needs as determined by a survey in the summer of 2021. Our school has done a great job by sending out surveys. Surveys this time around were not paper-based, they were Google Forms. And that was the first time around where we incorporated digital skills for our students. We were in a pandemic, there was no other way. Equity in student access to hardware and the internet. All the students were working from home. Just like every other school, our school also decided that how are we going to help our students? Our school invested in technology, in having laptops, hotspot facility for our students to provide them an equity so that all the students have equal opportunity and substantial machines or equipments to take their learning forward. Students' time, place, space, and pace were determined as well. It is extremely important for a teacher to understand at what pace are their students learning. What is it too fast for them, or what is it too slow for the students? Is it too slow for some students, or is it just too spread out? Is the place a good option for the students? Well, when we were in the pandemic, we didn't really have a lot of choice. But once we came back slowly and gradually, time, place, space, and pace were crucial in deciding and piloting a high flex class. We gave a lot of flexibility to our students, but it was a very structured flexibility for our students, saying, okay, ESL morning classes are 4 days a week. You pick and choose 2 days that you want to, or you can, or you would like to work from home and join online synchronously. And this was a big game changer for our students because this gave them the opportunity to decide their schedule, which is a real life skill, planning their schedule according to their needs, according to their requirements. Again, pandemic had a big role to play. We in the classroom were very focused for the safety of our students, which is why at one point we did not want the whole class to be in. So we planned a staggered movement in the classroom where the students would come 50% in person and 50% would work from home. Now, this sounds a little manic. How did the teacher manage this balance, right? It was hard at first, but then there are very strategic steps that we took. The best and the most easiest available tool was Zoom. Everybody knew Zoom. It was practically used for hosting parties, hosting baby showers, to connect with your families worldwide. So, okay, that was our primary source. Let's use Zoom to bring everybody on the same page. Our next factor that we chose was, okay, let's have a structured timetable of who is coming in person on what days. And should we keep it on a should we give them more flexibility there where they could just decide to come in whenever, or we had a plan there? Well, we decided let's have a plan there because anything that we're teachers, right? We work best with a plan. So we came up with a plan where we had given our students a choice, pick 2 days, but you have to be consistent in those 2 days because it had to do with safety. It had to do with positioning in the classroom. It also had to do with the number of students and the head counts, you know, in terms of emergencies and all of that. We had a consistent record of students in person and students joining online. Teachers' knowledge of best practices in online education. Now, again, we used our own personal skills. I used to Zoom in with people all over the world. When I did that, I used a lot of whiteboard. I used a lot of sharing skills, sharing of space, the virtual space. We decided to use that virtual space to teach our students a high flex program. And then at the same time, we teamed it up with Google Suites. When we teamed it up with Google Suites, we did not just only have a whiteboard, a traditional whiteboard for the teacher to teach, but we also had notepads, books, papers, everything virtually for our students to work on. We taught our students some of the skills, very basic skills of screen sharing, annotating, even using symbols to communicate with the class. Later, we decided the curriculum compatibility with online learning. Our school uses Ventures program, which is a brilliant program for our students. It adheres to all the skills that our students need time and again for their work, for their personal life, for their communication. So we decided to use Ventures online with our students. Ventures has a big plus point. It comes in with a QR code. So when the students are accessing Ventures online with the teacher, they can also download, the teacher is able to download the audio file for that particular listening piece. And then that can also be uploaded, and which was uploaded on their elements. At that time, when we were in the core pandemic, we started off with Google Classrooms. Google Classrooms have been extremely effective for our school because all of the children in other schools were also using Google Classroom. Therefore, it became the easiest option for our students to learn it from their younger children or other family members at home. Very simple, easy for, with an easy access, and very eye-friendly, as I called Google Classroom. You don't have to look around a lot of places if the teacher had organized the classrooms really well. It is a great place to have discussions as well. I had a lot of Google Classroom discussion. And then slowly transitioning to Canvas, because most of our students have a goal of joining the community college. And I think it's our duty as adult school teachers to equip our students with knowledge of using Canvas and to be able to navigate through the process of learning on Canvas, so that that's one less effective barrier for our students when they join the community college. Stress factors for the teacher and students. I'm not going to say that this was easy, but I'm not going to say that it was hard. I would use the word tricky. It was a tricky business, but we found skills to navigate through the tricks and trade of the business. So a teacher, if given some time to work with people or collaborate with other teachers, that's where sharing the best teaching practices comes in. And that's exactly what we did. I knew something that I shared with the group knew something that they shared with us, and that's how we all progressed in this journey of digitalization. Budget. This was apparently a zero level budget program. We did not invest into the fancy owls. We made our own owls. We made them with our skills and with some common sense that we had. Okay, we have laptops, we have a webcam, we have interactive whiteboards, and we have Zoom. Let's make our own owls. Our classrooms are equipped with laptops and Chromebooks. They all also have a camera in there. So can the students have one laptop on each and every table where they are collaborating with Zoomers, our onliners, and our in-person students? So this is how we did this. The duration. The school year of 2021-22, or as long as feasible, considering student needs and effectiveness of the program. Moving forward, I'm going to tell you more about this. Budget, it's a zero budget expenditure, like I said. The pilot class. Now, how did we design this, right? Intermediate, high, advanced, 24 students at that time, 9 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for each class, 4 mornings a week, 17 weeks, August through December, high flex model for blended learning. Students must attend a minimum of 2 days in the classroom face-to-face. Equipments used, like I mentioned, webcam, teacher PC, laptop, camera, headphones, projector screen. And then I had a great support and training from Digital Leadership Academy, like I just mentioned, collaboration. And students received instructions from me on how to navigate the course simultaneously, synchronously, online and face-to-face. Now, how and why? Okay, this is where the real chunk is. Blended learning, also known as a hybrid learning, is an approach to education that combines online educational materials and opportunities for interaction, online and traditional place-based classroom methods. The pandemic played an important role in implementing the online learning and eventually transitioning to the blended learning in person once we were back. As we are the ESL program, our major goals are teaching workforce-based ESL topics in the classroom. Having said so, blended learning ties into the workforce area, as having tech skills is extremely important nowadays. All of our students showed a great deal of interest in learning and establishing these skills. How did we design the blended learning? So we discovered if the Ventures curriculum was compatible with the HighFlex class, which it was, like I just mentioned, the QR codes and the possibility of having a software of Ventures installed on the classroom PC, which can then be shared via Zoom to the class. When I hit the QR code for the audio, because we have great speakers in the classroom, it was very easy for all of our students to listen to what was being said on the audio synchronously for our onliners and our in-person classroom. That means we brought everybody on the same page at the same time. Determine the student level of interactivity based on their choice of day and flexibility. The students that were working from home on Tuesday, if they were in person on a Wednesday, they were still on the same page because at that time, our LMS was Canvas and Zoom. So despite being in class in person, the student would still log on to Zoom because he or she had the opportunity to have a conversation with the onliner who was in person the previous day. So again, we brought our students on the same page. Integrate group collaboration activities. Now, some people say an online class on its own is better. Some people say in-person class on its own is better. Well, I'm going to differ here. I think HiFlex worked wonderfully with my class, and I'll show you a little video of HiFlex collaboration with a student who was working online with the students in person, all working together for the same goal on the same activity. Facilitate communication online and face-to-face communication, which was fantastic. I used to call my onliners as superstars because every day I would have them have their videos displayed on the big interactive whiteboard where they could see the class and the class could see them. It's almost like being in person. Compile a list of resources to support learning, and then finally created an assessment plan. Now, Ventures curriculum plan. Design the pacing for the blended learning course. Now, we made an ESL curriculum plan. So this is our long-term plan that we use at Santa Clara Adult Education. So this has a proper breakdown of all the units that need to be taught and when do they need to be taught. Again, keeping in mind that we also have EL Civics twice a year. We worked on the alignments of the teaching topics. Again, the alignment was vertical and horizontal because we have 5 levels, and sometimes we have a turnover of students who want to move up a level, which is why we came up with a long-term planning where even if the student were to move in the middle of the level to a different level, they would be learning the same objectives at a different pace and at a different scale. Determine the level of interactivity. This is what I use for my class. We have an active WhatsApp group for all my classes, and my students communicate on WhatsApp, and then we do then we have an online class as well as an in-person class. So here in this video, which I will be showing, the camera, the way it has been placed is that these students are sitting here and the classroom webcam faces towards them. Then I have my laptop, which faces towards the students who come up to the whiteboard to talk or discuss or to present. And then this one student is working from home on that one day. And that's how it works. So this is a picture. I'll show you the video in a minute. Integrate group collaboration activities. This is my Speak Up class here, which is a paid class, but the HiFlex works wonders in this class too. It's just an exclusive class just to expand students' speaking skills. This here is an ESL class. So like you can see on the projector screen, I have the students display, and then these students in the class are collaborating with the student who's working from home. I'm going to play this video because I have some examples that I'd like to share with you guys. But before that, I'm just going to share the sound. So here they're working on a mind map. And this student is working with this group, which is why they have the laptop so close to them. And the other students are all working together.
She sent this.
And then they're constantly communicating via WhatsApp as well.
But we like to know how many are there, the culture?
8.
8. Okay.
So this is an EL civics topic going on, culture sharing.
Okay, so it's this one. You're gonna write Mexico as 8.
No, yeah, CC, A.
CC, AS, okay.
Okay, moving forward. Am I on the right? Can you guys see the screen again?
Yes, we
Yes,
can see
Bijal.
the examples from HighFlex Classroom.
Wonderful. Moving forward, okay. Facilitate communication. How did we do that? WhatsApp and email. Send the task via WhatsApp and email, video, text, written. In person, students in person follow the instructions and collaborate with students in person and on online Zoom. Zoom, onliners work synchronously with the students in person and collaborate with Zoomers in the breakout room. So if we had more students working from home, then we would break them out into the breakout room, and they would, instead of using a real paper and a pen, they would use a whiteboard, create their own slide, and then share it with the class. And LMS, Google Classroom, and Canvas. Now, what is HighFlex? HighFlex is a blended learning model course format that combines a face-to-face classroom and an online classroom simultaneously. In planning the HighFlex, we also got an opportunity to use the technology scaffolding by levels, right? Like I mentioned, we have 5 levels in our school. It was a very strategic decision that we took to kind of reduce the anxiety of the students and the teachers. Sometimes it is really, really hard for the teacher to work through the tech skills and then do the traditional teaching at the same time. So how can we reduce that workload for the teacher? Our school gave us the opportunity to have collaboration meetings once a week for 1.5 hours, where all the teachers got together and collaborated and shared best teaching practices. It is also to do with strength-based teaching and learning for the students, as I am trained I'm trained by DLAC on the strength-based teaching. What does that mean? Every person in the room has a strength that he or she can share with the group. That's where the collaborations are really helpful. And that's exactly what we did. We put our creative heads together, and we came up with technology scaffolding levels for our different levels. So this is literacy level. So that's the first level, where we decided that these students, whilst they're in level 1, they should have an introduction to keyboard recognition, application, computer sound, high, low. No matter how much tech savvy the student is, these are the skills that the teacher will teach to the students. So by the end of that level, that student must have at least a good knowledge of some of these skills. When the student would advance, we would also advance that student with one extra skill that that student needs to learn to be able to really work through that level. So by the time a student reaches the advanced level, these are the kind of tech skills that we expect our students to learn from their ESL teacher. So this is where blended learning plays a huge role, where it's extremely important for the students to incorporate technological skills for a better outcome.
Bijal, you have a question in the chat. Would you like it now, or would you like it at the end?
If I could just, I'm on the last bit. So once I finish this, maybe I can go through the question and answers then. Create an assessment plan. This is my Canvas page. And on this page, we would have all the discussions and talks about different topics. So at that time, since we were doing culture sharing, we would talk about culture, we would have discussions, we would have goals, we would have our different modules. And this was used in person and online. So this again brought all the students on the same page. Now, the beauty of Canvas is, like everybody already knows, that you can upload videos, you can upload talks, you can upload quizzes, you can, have your co-ops, assessment done on it. So Canvas is a great, great tool to work on. Moving forward, successes and challenges, right? Now, it's a package of both. We had our successes where we were catering to different learning modalities. And that's a huge thing because mostly in the ESL program in the past, it has been difficult for teachers to adhere to different learning modalities. With blended learning and high flex instructions, you are learning to kinesthetic learners, you are learning to reflect, you are catering to reflective learners, you are catering to pragmatists, you are catering to all the different kind of learners. And that is a huge success because each and every student learns at a different pace and has a different learning style, just like each and every teacher has a different teaching style. We had a great student retention because something is better than nothing, right? So if they are learning tech skills, which they can use and apply in their daily lives, which was fantastic. At that time, Google Forms, nowadays, Google Forms are being used everywhere. People are making use of emails even more. People are making use of Google Suites even more. A lot of presentations. Blended learning is not just a requirement, it is a basic necessity in today's time and age. Flexibility for both student and teachers. At that time, we only offered it to the students, but I think it'll be a great success if the teachers also had the benefits of going high flex. High student engagement, all the students, it is new. It's a new skill for the students. All the students want to learn these tech skills. It's only because of the affective barrier that they have that sometimes they feel it's too much. But if taught with the right intention, right strategy, and a dynamic teaching environment, the students gain a lot from high flex programs. Teacher training is great. All the teachers would also love to have these skills if used along with their own strengths. Anything where a person is in charge of, it always takes learning a step forward. So if the technology strands were incorporated using the teacher's existing strengths, I think it's a great success. Teachers don't find it as hard. And it's very trendy in teaching. Nowadays, teaching has become extremely trendy. In fact, I'm also working on something called infographics because we are an ESL program, and infographics, information shared using graphics. How trendy can that be, right? And it will really, really be a huge success for our ESL students because they don't need a lot of words. They just need the right content. And if we offer the right content to our students, the learning will be on a different level altogether. Challenges. Teachers need more prep time. I agree. Again, it's a slow and a gradual process. Once the teachers get the hang of it, they will definitely work through this. Students don't want to work online a lot. Yes, and this happened with us, which is why we piloted it only for one semester. Again, I can blame it on pandemic, right? We were so socially starved that the students wanted to come in. And I would say, of course, it's a different dynamic in the class. But again, I was very successful to have the same dynamic high flex, using the high flex. Teachers need extra time to work on the high flex as it is very time consuming. In the beginning, yes. But I guess once you get the hang of it, and once you know where to find the resources, which I guess now Santa Clara is ready, because we have one person who's fully trained, knows how to troubleshoot, and is working in the classroom on the floor, gets the firsthand experience of all the problems and can solve it. I think we are ready for it now. Increase workload, I would say yes and no. Again, it depends on teacher's personal strengths, but if the teacher is provided with all the material, I think he or she should be fine. Conclusions. Did a HighFlex blended learning model meet the students' need? I would say yes, it did meet the students' needs because, like I said, blended learning is the way forward. All the students want to learn the technology. They also want to do it independently at home, because nowadays social media is taking a huge space in our life. Everybody's on Instagram, everybody's on WhatsApp, everybody's on Facebook. Everybody needs to learn the technology. Who can teach it with English as its main language for communication? ESL classrooms, ESL teachers. Let me teach you the most in language nowadays. Let me teach you the virtual language nowadays. That's trendy teaching. What did the students' learning take place? Of course it took place. The listening skills improved a lot because this gave the teachers a lot of platform and a huge opportunity to incorporate videos that the students could listen from home in their own time. And the more we listen, the faster we learn, right? Was this type of classroom sustainable? I would say absolutely, because it's a zero budget. It is very sustainable for the students and the teachers. We had to stop it, but I would not, in a heartbeat, restart this if I was given the opportunity. Was a HighFlex classroom user-friendly for the teachers and students? I would say yes, very user-friendly. Again, with a little extra training and a little guidance with some real-life examples. Yes, this is absolutely user-friendly. Will SEA continue with this model? Well, we're talking about it. For now, it is in the parking lot because it was done with an intention of one semester. I'm talking only the HighFlex. Blended learning will definitely be implemented from all the levels. Future with blended learning, online learning as well as blended learning will be driven by students' needs. We know how to develop and implement a successful program, and we will continue to monitor the needs of ESL students and staff and be open to other forms of instructions as the time progresses. What does the future hold? Well, I don't know, but I do know something that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed teaching HighFlex, and I enjoyed teaching in person, a completely online model as well. So I think I'm open. Let's just put it this way. I am open to trendy teaching. Questions? Let's go to the questions. Why did you need both WhatsApp and an LMS? Okay, why do I need WhatsApp, right? My students, I want to give my students a chance to ask me a question whenever they feel they have a question, right? So I have WhatsApp group for my Speak Up class. My Speak Up class is just a once a week class. How much do we learn in once a week? So what do? I make a WhatsApp group for my Speak Up class and have my students do a video presentation on WhatsApp group once a week, and then an in-person presentation once a week. So they're paying for one class, but they are having two platforms where they practice more and more. WhatsApp group was started mainly just to make video presentations for my students where they are learning the skills of re-recording themselves again and again and again. What do we learn from this? Practice makes a man perfect. Every time they prepare for a video recording, they don't like it. Why? Because, oh, teacher, I didn't like the way I sounded. Okay, re-record yourself. Well, teacher, I forgot to say this. Okay, re-record it. I forgot to do this. They record 5 times. They only posted once, but those 4 times were for themselves. And that's where the learning took place. And when they came to the class, they came in with a lot more confidence. So that is why I have WhatsApp groups. We do a lot of discussion on our Canvas as well. I would pose a question and I would encourage the students. Sometimes I would use in-person time saying, hey, I'm going to pose this question. Let's discuss on this topic right now so that we have a written discussion as well as a verbal one where I can now assist you with your sentence construction, maybe choice of vocabulary, or maybe, even to help you read your answer with the right intonations, right? So these were the benefits that I thought helped my students. Which modalities does adult education program use mostly? Well, right now we're all in person, but blended learning hasn't stopped. My class uses blended learning a lot. So like I said, right from the basics to video recording on their phones. Phone is the most underrated technological tool in the classrooms, and I think it should be promoted. There are many mediums to go on the phone. Last year we used Ring Central. Ring Central is a great software where your personal details don't go out. You have a number provided by the school. I used to send text messages to my students using Ring Central. Then there are lots of other groups that a teacher can make where your personal identity does not leak out and the students have an opportunity to be on their phones. Just like Canvas. Canvas is downloadable on your phone. So all my students have a phone. They could immediately see a notification on their phone saying, hey, teacher uploaded this question today. I got to work on it. So I guess that's why I used phone a lot. Right now, like I said, I don't use Zoom right now because all my students come in person, but I use a lot of Google Suites. Recently, my students we did a project. So we're now getting into project-based learning, right? I use a chunk of my time to give projects to my students. The recent one was express yourself in a story, right? So I gave that platform to my students. They all sat with the laptops. We watch a video every morning to improve our listening skills. So I said, let's pick on fables. We're all adults. We understand meaning of life. Let's work on that a little. My students had an opportunity to either type their own stories from scratch using the Story Mountain, or pick a story that you know and modify the beginning, middle, or the end. It's up to you guys. And then they did a lot of research on it. They worked on their sentence constructions using Google Suites, then on documents. Then we printed out their scripts, and then they practiced, and they performed, they made their own props. And that was done in 2.5 hours, where they worked on it for 1.5 weeks. We used only part of my lesson to prepare them for this. The other part was strictly used for teaching ventures because we did not.
So your doctor, I think, refilled your prescriptions, and he said that you can have them sent to your house.
Bingo.
But I don't know which ones. Can you read me the ones you need to be refilled?
Can we mute or Ilsa?
Well, I'm already on the website right now. I just hit add to cart. You'd rather go down there?
Melody, you're not muted.
Okay, I think you can go do that too. I'll just log out of here. What I want to make sure the ones that you need are the
Melody?
ones that are
Melody.
here. Can you
Who's the
tell me
host? The host should be able to mute.
just the name? I know there's two.
Who's the host for the meeting?
I'm sorry, Shauna's the host. and
Read
she's
the
not
bottle,
here,
'cause
so
I don't know.
have the controls.
I just see the name of the medications listed here.
Yeah, I don't think she can hear us, so
No.
I'm just gonna read.
Bijal, who's the host?
Shauna said it.
I don't. DRO. That HYDROCH. Oh
Hilarious.
no. This one says HYDROCHLOROT.
Melody.
Okay, So that one, it says
Nobody's a
available.
co-host here?
What's the other one called?
Oh,
Because there's a penicillin here. I know you don't need penicillin.
This is a fun Friday surprise.
Yeah.
I feel
Melody,
so
can you
sad.
hear us? Melody? Melody, if you can hear us,
Wait,
you
hang on a
need
second.
to
They're
mute.
talking to me.
Yeah, please mute Melody, your
Sorry.
conversation, we can hear it.
okay. So yes, so that's all from me. If you have any more questions, please feel free to ask me.
I have another question. You mentioned that this was what you called a zero budget, yet you provided resources to the students who didn't have a computer at home or a hotspot. Your classroom had speakers. Of course, you had a computer, but it sounds like you had computers for use in class. I'm just curious. So these are things that you had previously, I'm assuming.
Yes, we had these things. We've always had projector screens in our classroom, and we've always had speakers in our classroom. So we've not gone out to purchase anything which is new, apart from the fact that now we all have interactive whiteboards. Before we had projector screens, but now we have the smart board. So that's one new addition to our resources. But I guess that is to just enhance our teaching skills within the classroom and make sure that we cater to all the learning modalities using and making our classes more interactive.
Thank you.
I hope this was useful for you guys. Could you show your classroom tech setup? Yes, of course. So I'm going to just turn on my interactive whiteboard right now. So that's my remote, and that's that. This is my laptop. So I'm going to turn the camera on my laptop. Right, so now you can see two of me. Hi, guys. All right. So I would place this here depending on what I need. And then this is my webcam. So I'm going to show you. I have my webcam placed on my PC here. Can you guys see this? I don't know. Yeah. So now I'm going to turn it turn it around so you can see my bench, my desks in the classroom. This is, imagine we have students here, and I am going to face this here so you can see how it looks on the whiteboard. And I'm going to share my screen. Let's work on my HDMI, my source. All right. Sorry, my interactive whiteboard is playing up. I guess I just stepped on the wire accidentally. So whenever I step on the cord, it just kind of moves. So I'm going to try this just one more time, but this is how. Yes, owls are a large investment, but they also have a delayed response. So this is one of the feedback that we got from our DLAC collaborations. Some of the schools have invested in owls, and they have a delayed response. So by the time teacher said something and is working on something, the owl will play about 10 seconds later. So it's not very much in sync with the ongoing in-person classroom activities. I wonder what's this right now. I'm sorry, guys. My interactive whiteboard is playing up for some reason. Maybe I've just stepped on the cord. I'll have to fix that.
Can somebody explain what you're calling an OWL? Because I think I'm thinking of a different acronym.
These are 360-degree cameras that rotate on a 360-degree, and they are motion censored. So when the teacher is walking in the classroom around helping the students, the owls follow that motion, and then they project that movement, which is a delayed response by 10 seconds. So by the time teacher is gone and come back, it's kind of a little delay. These are owls. They're 360-degree motion detectors, cameras.
Thank you.
Let's see. I hope this works now. Okay, I don't know what's wrong with this right now. I just had a class sometimes back and it was okay.
So Bijal, students have WhatsApp, Zoom, Canvas, all of these open, and ventures, of course, through Canvas, all of these open when they were attending class, correct?
Yes, yes.
And was there, was something decided as to, because otherwise it could be confusing, where would you post messages? Was that very clear that it would always be on WhatsApp?
No, so when the students were in the class working together, we would use Zoom chats.
Okay.
Because then they would also project here. So if somebody has missed, they would say, teacher, there's a chat. We got to read this. Or somebody would read it from their table. Or somebody would call it.
It would take a few cycles to get used to the whole thing, right?
It takes time to get used to, but I would say, like teaching a class, right? As teachers, what do we do when we teach a class? We keep our learning objectives very simple, but then we extend them according to the learning levels of the students in the classroom, right? Again, that's a very strength-based teaching. So you'd be surprised how many students who don't have the language, but have the right kind of tech skills in the classroom, who would assist you in helping the other students. There you go. That's the first step of using and applying language, saying, hey, go help this table there. They need help with opening the Google Docs. Okay, teacher, what term should I use? Click or open? There you go. So that's language in action.
Got it.
So I guess I'm done here.
Thank you.
Anybody has any more questions, please feel free. Don't hesitate to contact me as well. I'm more than happy to help you guys with any questions.
Thank you so much, Bijal. This was excellent. And we've recorded this session, so we'll send out the link to others who weren't able to make it. So thank you to you and to Patricia and Archana, who were all part of this project. This was really, really, really interesting. This was the last meeting of our community of practice for this school year. So thank you for coming today. Thank you for attending the other sessions. We hope this was helpful to you. And if you have ideas on topics for next year's, please let me know. Just shoot me an email. And if there's enough interest, we can continue these community of practice meetings into next school year. So great to see you all. Thank you. Have a great weekend.
Thank you guys. And I really appreciate having this opportunity to come and share whatever I learned with all of you all. So thank you.